the biggest reason of arguments or tension in the relationship is expectations. We all, especially women, we put so many expectations on the man, but he's not a mind reader. Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel dedicated to pleasure and relationships. In this video, I'm going to cover 10 steps on why we argue in relationships. You are probably watching this video if you're finding yourself arguing in a relationship and you're not exactly sure why. Don't worry, you're not alone. We didn't go to school to learn this. This is why I'm here for you today. The first one I'm going to start with is a lack of communication or communication breakdown in relationships. We've all gone through life learning different methods of communication, and something I'm going to throw in there first is language as well. If you are communicating in two different languages, it's great to have more of an understanding of your partner's background and culture and how they communicate and feel the tone of voice and communicate within a relationship. I used to live in France and I had French partners, and it is very stereotypical. The French men are very romantic and passionate, but they also can be very straightforward. So I had to learn, it was kind of like polar opposites. I had to learn why and how they were communicating as they do through different scenarios or different moments. So language is a great one that I'm going to throw in there for you first. Carrying on, arguments can occur when there is a breakdown in communications or misunderstanding, unclear expectations, a lack of effective communication strategies, or you're just simply learning something new with your partner. It's great to have weekly date nights so you can actually sit down and speak about the week, speak about how you were communicating and how you're feeling and anything that you need to communicate moving forward. We also have different perspective. Carrying on from the language and the culture as well, people have grown up in different values, different backgrounds, different beliefs, which is phenomenal that we have the abundance in the world to be able to relate and exchange with other nationalities and cultures. I'm actually British and I've never had a British boyfriend. It's really important to know how you communicate and what your wants, desires, feelings and needs are, and then create the space to communicate this with your partner. They might have a total different perspective or a total different view, for example, on who takes the bins out, who's making dinner, do you do this and I do this. Throughout all of my videos, I'm always going to come back to the communication that's needed in the bread and butter of a relationship. Are you ready to awaken your sensuality, to reclaim your power, to feel your inner goddess? I'm Katie Bampton and I've created the School of Sensuality. For as little as $1 a day, you can join me inside where I share daily practices for you to implement into your day, allowing you to connect to yourself. It's time to let go of the anxious, disconnected, numb feelings and bring you back to your center so you can feel more love, pleasure and joy. I share modalities from breathwork to sensual embodiment to feminine embodiment, self-pleasure modalities, all to connect you to yourself. I will see you guys inside. Another reason why we can come into arguments is emotional expression. Arguments can be a way for individuals to express their anger, their frustrations, their emotions and needs, but obviously it's not always healthy. So I recommend that if you do feel anger or frustration, that you let it out by yourself and don't use your partner as a punching bag. Everyone needs a form of emotional release in their life, and communicating underlying issues to your partner so they are aware is going to help the relationship. Which leads me into boundary setting. Arguments are often there because people in our relationships are overstepping our boundaries, but we didn't even put boundaries there in the first place. So this is a moment for you to look within yourself. Where do your boundaries sit? Where are they lying in yourself as an individual, and how can you communicate this to your partner? And you may be thinking, boundaries, what are they? Yes, there is a lot of people pleasers out there. So if you don't have any boundaries, there's probably a high chance you are a people pleaser. What do I mean by this is, can you address how you desire to be spoken to, the time that you wish to be spent together, what is acceptable and what is not? Maybe on your next date night, I invite you to have this type of conversation with your partner to really tap into your boundaries and where they sit. Obviously, if your partner is overstepping your boundaries, you can bring it up. If your boundaries are being overstepped in a relationship, is this something that you want to be navigating? Is this something you want to be dealing with? Can you speak up to your partner? If you are not well received, I suggest working with a professional, but also if it gets to a point and you really know that this is not okay, don't don't take it. My favorite saying is know your worth and add tax. Don't settle for less, ladies. Another reason why we can come into arguments in the relationship is stress and external factors, such as work, financial pressure, family issues. They can spill over into the relationship. What I'm really going to expand on with this one is self-awareness. Do you have a stressful job? Are you stressing because of your finances? Is there a parental issue going on? Tap into yourself. Allow yourself to communicate with a person or have these experiences needed outside of the relationship. Come to yourself, come to a grounded space, and then communicate that to your partner. Hey babe, I had a really unhealthy day at work with a colleague. I'm just feeling a little bit agitated anymore. I'm not in the space to have any deep conversations. I need some time, but I would love to come back and make love or hang out with you afterwards. I just need time for myself. This is also you reaffirming your boundaries and communicating that to your partner. They won't feel like, why is she not talking to me? Why is she stressed? When now your partner is going to be aware of the issue. And another one, probably one of the biggest reason of arguments or tension in the relationship is expectations. We all, especially women, we put so many expectations on the man, but he's not a mind reader. How does he know if you're setting these expectations that are like fairies? And there's no wonder there's an imbalance in the relationship. If you have expectations, you haven't communicated them to him. For example, do you come home from work and you're wishing that your dinner is just ready on the table? He's not a mind reader. You know, send him a nice message. Hey babe, I would love to come home to some dinner. I don't have much time after work. Is this something that you're able to provide? You're giving him the space. You are opening the question for him. He can respond with where he's at, and then you'll be able to sit in a space of like, oh, okay, he's not available for this. I'm going to sort myself out this evening. Ladies, how many times have you sat there waiting for a phone call or waiting for him to message you, and you're sitting there wasting your day, you're not going about doing anything because you're waiting for him? That's an unmet expectation. Have you communicated to him that you would like to speak or communicate wherever you're at in your day? Or are you just sitting there waiting? Like I said, unless you communicate to him, it's not going to know. We're not magic. A great one to remember is we've all had different experiences of life. We've all had different jobs, different schools, different upbringings, and however we have communicated in those moments or what we are used to. For example, does your partner have brothers and sisters, or are they an only child? Growing up in that way, whether you have brothers and sisters or an only child, is a completely different experience. But what I'm getting at here is acknowledging that the communication from the two people will be completely different. For example, your brother has grown up only around sisters, or your sister has grown up only around brothers. The language that you use, the desire that you hold, the more feminine essence, the more masculine essence that you're bringing forward is unique to you. The more that you can tap into your own self with your self-awareness and self-reflection, you will know so much more, and it will be so easy to communicate this to your partner, obviously avoiding arguments. Some of my most profound personal growth moments have come through maybe arguments and tensions in the relationship. Honestly, they can be a catalyst for self-discovery, self-reflection and growth, but you've got to use it correctly. Rather going into the argument, just sitting with the argument, keeping it there and then moving on. We want to dissolve that. Ask yourself, why did I react like that? How am I feeling? Did I feel heard? Did I feel seen? Have I communicated my truth, or am I just sitting here people pleasing? Ladies, if this is something that you are struggling with, I recommend that you reach out and book in a free 15-minute call with me. I can get a background for where you are at or the direction to point you in to come back to yourself, to know how you can openly communicate to your partner. Like I've said many times before, we didn't go to school to learn how to communicate our feelings, emotions, or how to even speak to our partner what we want. And don't worry, you're not alone, it's life. My recent client had a habit of 3-month relationships. And you know why? Because she wasn't communicating. She didn't know what she wanted. She didn't know how to voice that. So when an argument or something arose in the relationship, she would just run, which can kind of be an avoidant behavior. But now she has the tools and tricks needed to be able to sit with herself, to look in on that self-reflection, and then to move forward. Relationships are here to make us grow, to highlight where we do need to grow and how we can work on ourselves. Relationships are a great mirror of how we are acting, what we are attracting into our life, and the frequency we are sitting on. I like to see them as healing opportunities, improving the communication skills, the relationship skills, and the power to be able to work on yourself within the dynamic of a relationship when both people are supporting each other. And I touched on this a little bit before. Let's say you are a female and you have grown up in a male dominant environment, whether that's all around your brothers or in a sports environment or a tradie. If you don't know what a tradie is, in Australia, it's a plumber, electrician, or a painter generally, or a carpenter, which is generally a male dominant area. Females naturally protect themselves. We naturally put our safety blankets on so we aren't hurt or shamed by the men around us. So have you had these experiences in your life, and is this playing out in your relationship? Are you putting your safety blanket on and not wanting to open your heart? Opening your heart can be very scary, vulnerable, and uncomfortable, but when you can do so in a safe, non-judgmental space, honestly, the power, the love is all yours, and it's going to avoid the arguments that you may be having. We don't want to be having that outbalance of power dynamics in a relationship, whether that comes from control, dominance, or submission from the other partners. We want to come into a healthy, loving relationship, which leads me on to past baggage. Have you had experiences in past relationships that was unhealthy, or past traumas or unresolved issues that yet again is covering you with your safety blanket? This is just going to show out and mirror in your relationship and probably come out in a tension, projection, argumentative way, which is allowing me to affirm the importance of self-reflection and self-awareness in your relationships. Not all arguments need to be negative. They can be constructive conversations allowing you to excel in your growth. If you are having repetitive cycles in your relationships, maybe this is the moment to look within yourself. Where have I not healed yet? Where am I holding a wound from my trauma, from my childhood, or from an experience that happened when I was younger? If you do find yourself in this kind of cycle in patterns, feel free to reach out with me. This is the work that I'm passionate about, because tapping into your own inner self, changing the patterns, undoing the limiting beliefs, literally gives you so much love and pleasure on the other side, ladies. I am honestly sure that if you are willing to handle arguments or tension in a relationship in a healthy way and find solutions together, your intimacy, your connection, the trust, the love is just going to blossom. That's it from me today, guys. I will hope to see you in the next video.